Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Jana Talk podcast. I'm truly happy to see you here today because we're going to speak about a very good and practical topic, how to stop living on an autopilot. Why do we feel stuck in our life? Because do you know the feeling that sometimes we might tend to stay in relationship, at work, or in some situations even we feel it's not right for us and we stay there because from some other reasons. So today we're going to speak about why do we feel stuck in our life, or how to change that. How do we recognize that we are living life on an autopilot and not the true life we should live? My today's guest is an amazing lady. You might have seen her approximately a year ago where we did together the first interview, how to find a purpose in your life. So if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. She is a founder of Cosmic Businesswoman, also the creator of A.R.C method, which is tune, release, and create. And also she's a founder and author of two codexes, of the Coherence Codex and also of the Living Codex. You will also love to listen about these codexes because there will be also a big surprise and gift for you all who are listening. So definitely stay tuned. My today's guest is helping women for almost 30 years. She's helping them to reconnect with themselves, with their inner truth, with their intuition, with their body emotions, and also to release the unconscious patterns of which they are not aware of. Usually she's helping women who are strong on the outside, but on the inner side, they feel disconnected from themselves. And also they feel that they are not living the life from their inner truth. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome my today's guest. I'm really honored to welcome her again in my podcast, Beata Höfelmeyer. Hello, Beata. Very nice to see you again.
Hi, thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. Welcome all, and thank you for having me aboard again.
Thank you very much, Beata, that you joined. Tell me, how have you been since our first interview? What's new?
Everything is new. I think this has been such a big, surprising journey. I must say, I was reflecting back into it, and I have changed so much. So much. I was really so naive by thinking that when you leave everything and you're ready, you just come into this island and you start over. But this time has been so amazing. I've got this beautiful, beautiful transformation myself, which it basically took me home into my body, into myself. So I am basically much more grounded. I have different insights. And I am so happy for that because this became a very solid foundation for my life, but also for my work, which also took a little bit different shape. It's much more precise, much more grounded. So it's amazing, and yeah, of course, life is happening. Sometimes we have your weird surprises. We have to learn everything from the weather conditions to different culture and adapt ourselves. But it has been amazing journey and very enriching. So if someone is doubting if you should go and change your environment, go for the expansion, just do it, because I am sure that, we are such a great species. We are thriving by change, by different environments. So yeah, it has been really great year.
That's amazing. How is it to see and observe who visit you to see the big transformations in their life? It must be really amazing.
It is amazing. And, sometimes I'm really not exaggerating. It can make me really cry because in every woman, you do recognize also part of yourself. And we are not much different. We all have desires. We all have our baggage. And I think this is so beautiful and very fragile to be able to be witness of somebody opening up to such a degree that there is completely honesty with yourself, and people are always having an idea, an issue or desire which they take here on the island. But it always happens that it turns out that the bottom line is always something different. So they are going through this meeting with themselves in a deep level. And I think this is very much eye-opening for people, because they get to know the parts of themselves they were living by, directing by, but not consciously meeting. And for example, there is a lot of hidden parts of us, and they are always asking for attention and being met with love. There is a lot of wisdom, but somehow we are very distracted by the patterns, by the autopilots, and we are not meeting those parts. So this is really beautiful when somebody is discovering those parts and is really able to change their life without effort, because we've got this crazy idea that we always need to improve ourselves. There is always something ahead of you that will help you, and hopefully, probably, maybe it's going to give you the freedom you are waiting for, the next big chance, then I don't know, transformation. But by doing so, people are missing out the real actual life. And this is what those people are reclaiming here, the aliveness, the contact with something bigger, something greater, more authentic. So basically, this is great to see how people reawaken into their purpose, into the meaning of their life, not what people are expecting, what they're supposed to do. Because, the most surprising thing is even if you come with a business idea and you want to be guided by having metamorphose in your business life, we never look at the business at the first, because you are your company. You are basically the living mirror of what you are selling. And people are very surprised that, to get this change, you never work on the outside, but just admit what's inside and meet yourself somehow in the depth. So yeah, this is amazing. I love it. And it's big part of my work.
Mm-hmm.
I love the most.
That's amazing. What are the major problems or situations what women solve who visit you?
This is very diverse, because I think we all have certain ideas what we need to change. But for me, the story you are bringing is one part of the big piece. And I think from my observation, basically, I think the disconnection from yourself to being fragmented is the major, not issue, but, that's what is in play. And this is really funny, because I do love to go and dive into the psyche, into the energetics, into everything. So I love to go and depattern things. And basically, we are all somehow disconnected. And we are trying to run this life by outside circumstances. And we are having regrets, but somehow we always end up doing the same things. And now I am studying like the cases from almost over the 100 ladies gave me material to study for my upcoming book, The Woman Who Remembered Herself. And I must say, I was really shocked, because, the stories might be different, but underneath all of those stories is that we are being outsourced. We are being outsourced to please people, to live busy lives, to just catch up with life, with the needs of others. And we are not meeting ourselves. We are not expressing our feelings. We are not even daring to go for the dreams, for the changes. We are postponing. And it happened that I did also study the palliative care witness. And she wrote this beautiful book about the regrets on the deathbed. And it hits me, because, we are regretting or living by things that we're going to exactly regret at the end of our life, that we are not expressing our feelings, that we are not going for our dreams, that we are not authentic to ourselves. It's not even the traveling part or, but just being authentic. We are regretting that we are working too much. And this is exactly, I can match this so much. So there is a lot to learn, because I think the bottom line is that we all want the freedom to be ourselves, not pretending, being able to freely express what we are feeling, what we are needing, and just have this beautiful exchange which is not being dictated by, I don't know, sometimes you need to be really capable of so many things that you are not really showing who you are. You are not even quiet enough to feel those things underneath.
Yeah.
And people starts to feel this, like this, there is this original current in you, this desire to live your purpose. Everyone is feeling this. And we have this strong pull to go in the direction of this beautiful calling of your nature, of your soul more. They are capable of more, but not by impressing people and forcing things, but they're just this aliveness.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we don't know how to go there. And there are certain, dynamics in our life by which we are delaying meeting those parts. So yeah, this is, I think the major thing is the fragmentation.
Mm-hmm. The fragmentation. When you were mentioning that women, or that we do not live an authentic life, and that people regret at the end of their life that they didn't live the life which they wanted to live, why do you think that we are so often living on an autopilot and hurrying to fulfill somebody else's needs and tasks and to-do list?
Yeah, autopilot isn't bad in itself, but you can imagine that it is initiated somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it might, from the outside, it looks very efficient because you go, you do things, you do not lose the time to postpone. You just go, you accomplish a lot of things. But, you might be even spiritual on autopilot. You might raise your children on autopilot. But underneath, there are sets of instructions which might not be perfectly great for you at the current moment. Because if you do some things on autopilot, who is choosing? Are you choosing consciously as this adult woman sitting and having this conversation with me?
Mm-hmm.
Or you are using this autopilot to grab the instruction set from somebody who is from, basically it might be you in the past, in the situation that you learned that do things certain way. It might not even, the most crazy thing is that we are living the life by instructions, and you not necessarily might be the one who is always holding the pen. There might be somebody else who has written the full script for you without you being aware.
Mm-hmm.
So what is autopilot? What are you obeying by just going by autopilot? How much of free will and free choice is in this? How much aliveness
Mm-hmm.
is in the autopilot?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's great because if you are driving in a big city and you are switching the gears and you go and the traffic lights, that's great that those things are go by autopilot, because you will be getting crazy, like the respiratory system is going also on the autopilot. You don't have to think about this. But it is not always good, because I think this is depriving us of really being aware, being the author, basically, of your reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the major problem with the autopilots.
Yeah. And why do you think it happens that we unconsciously live the life without even being present and enjoying as much life?
Yeah, this is a really great topic because there is so much underneath. You can grab this one from a lot of angles. It's even scientifically, if you go by the neuroscience, our brain is basically wired to keep always the safety and prevent something rather to go towards joy. And it's even more creepy and worse if you just figure out that your brain is actually projecting some things into this reality, which might not be true.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain, it will be always making sure you're gonna stay by the most credible scenario, and it is always surviving and not thriving. So that's the one part of the story. The other part is that we are being conditioned by the past events. So, for example, when I have people coming to me and they say, like, I would love to expand my business because I do love so much to go for more and have more clients. better paid offers, because right now, I don't know, there is a lot of energies going nowhere, and I know what I want, but
Yeah.
it needs to be bigger, nicer, more credible. How do I do this? So I love this, I never go and look at the business to solve the business, because for me, I do the business the other way around. I look at the business, and what you are doing is always giving me idea of what is happening in your inner environment. Because, how can you imagine the same lady asking for expansion to go for more when in reality she is such a pleaser? She got this idea, let's say she was 5 when her mom got another child, and it happened to be not very healthy baby. She got a lot of issues with this child, needed to go to the hospital, save a lot of money. So, the 5 years old was always trying to be nice and keep easy and quiet to help mommy, because she loved mommy so much. So she went pleasing and being quiet and postponing her needs, because, otherwise it will be not okay. It will be too much. So, you do this from love. This child loves mom and go and do those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's going to learn that she is always in the background. She needs to take care of all those people very much. She needs to please. She needs to be sure that they are okay. And if she's offering some programs, and it might be something for personal development, and maybe this person who is buying this program doesn't reach the stage where she is really thriving. So she's always going to take personally the results of the clients. She's going to carry them. If she's going to sell something, she always going to negotiate the price of her product. And if she really grab the courage together to say the price, she's going to add like maybe 5-6 bonuses into it to make it true, make it happen, not be of trouble. People might even text her on Sunday. How do you think energetically she will be and physically capable to hold bigger expansion when her nervous system is collapsing under the weight of so many people she's basically carrying and taking care of?
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
question. Mm.
So she will be always sabotaging, and I don't mean this in negative way, because this is very, you can imagine those dynamics are very sophisticated. The part of her who needed to survive back then is protecting her
Mm-hmm.
from the expansion, because it will be meaning that she will be collapsing at some point. So if I will be just focusing with her on her business expansion and say like, okay, I see what you can do this, and then go fire and sell. She's going to postpone every possible way not to go online, not to be visible, because visibility might be more trouble. So, this little girl inside, this 5 years old, is going to say, no way, no, we're not going to do this. I'm not going to let you, because I love you and I need to take care of you. So we're going to stay quiet. So what is she going to do? She's going always to improve existing website,
Mm-hmm.
programs, postponing to say the truth. Everything that she's going to create, it's going to be always in a process of improving, not good enough. And you think like, wow, why is she postponing? Or is she lazy or what? None of it. She's very sophisticated, smart lady using the outdated sets of instruction to keep us alive. So this is incredible, right? If you think like this. So I basically became very enthusiastic. I mean, this pattern, it doesn't matter which situation you are going to apply to this pattern, to this looping mechanism, it always works the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a moment in your life, I call this the choice before the choice, when you can pause for a second and just get at it, like, who is holding the pen?
Mm-hmm.
What am I about to do? Because it's not, the question is not what do you need to do, but who is choosing for you? What is happening in this very moment? And if you train yourself to grab this moment, you can become able to see these dynamics unfolding,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
And then you will be able to make much more conscious choice. And in the beginning, it might look very small, because, by knowing this, you're not going to go and change the whole business. but you might just become aware that you are postponing or not daring to say your price. Like you've got this beautiful webinar and then you're starting to sweat in the end because you know you need to call the price out loud and you go, oh my God, I'm freaking out. If you can grab yourself and just, you look at the dynamics, because the body is always very sophisticated, it will give you the clue. But we can always mistake the bodily sensations if your emotion that arise by it is going to dictate the story you are attaching to it. If you can catch yourself, I call this the moment, the click. Like you see up and this coming, like the moment is there, you need to say that you are asking £2,000 for your upcoming beautiful container, and you feel yourself freaking out. Just stay in the moment. Feel the body. Feel the emotion rising. And then be clever enough to do not act from the autopilot, but just grabbing this emotion, knowing that emotion, that's not necessarily the truth. It's not a comment. It's just information. There is something unfinished in your system, right? So if you can grab this emotion and let it run freely through your system without acting upon it, because it's asking you completion. The loops are always circulating in closed circuit. So the moment is there, you feel yourself rushing towards, I don't know, adding few extra bonuses, making, I don't know, circus theater out of yourself. Just stop, breathe. You're going to feel the emotions, and then you can ask yourself, what is this emotion asking me to do? What it is dictating? Because if you catch this, you know who is answering the need of this emotion. Is this you in the current moment? You have seen the faces of the ladies. They were so enthusiastic and they love to buy from you. If you can really stay present and be at ease, you're going to see that people going to act differently, but also you're not going to attach the old story thus instructions. You're not going to, I don't know, make the reanimation on some old story that will be ripple into the future, because, the choice is not always the decision that you are making at this moment is not always visible. It comes later. And sometimes even this process looks like relief, because if you will be adding some extra stuff into the bonuses to this price, at this moment you will be feel relieved, right? Because that's the survival mechanism, but it's not necessarily good, because at the long term, you're going to be disappointed at yourself. The webinar will be over and you're going to say like, shit, why have I done this again? Why?
Beata, may I interrupt you? Because you mentioned many, many great things. I wrote down a few things just to stop by and to make it not to forget a few important things which you mentioned. I want to make sure that we all know when and how does the autopilot appear and how to work with this. When some situation appears, I think the best thing is just to make space and not to react automatically, because automatically there will be the autopilot, right?
Yes. And, we are all having a lot of autopilots, it will be almost impossible to go and hound them all.
Yeah.
It's not possible, but, some things are okay. But if you are postponing things, maybe you can start with things like, for example, if you have some issue in your life and you happened to repeat it. And I don't know, let's grab some situations. Maybe you are about to post some article on LinkedIn, and you, in a private, put some piece of information that is so you. You are so proud to put this. And, it's really beautiful written. It's got this essence of you in there. And then the moment comes that you need to press the button and you start to reading and saying like, but wait, what those people going to think about me? Because this is really totally different than I used to say. Are they going to criticize me? Am I going to lose these followers? And then you have those questions, blah, 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 blah. And, on the autopilot, you would go, it looks even sophisticated from the outside. Like, okay, let me check because I need to be responsible with this piece of information to keep everything intact, right? Looks great. Oh, wow, she's just editing the story. But if you just go and edit the story and you wiped out the essence of you to protect something, that's not good. The good habit will be to make this perfect, the spelling, just see and leave it. Is this written correctly? Am I happy with this message underneath? Yes. Then it's ready to go. But if you are erasing yourself by changing the words and sentences and probably deleting this very accurate sentence, which is your essence, then this situation is not okay. And we've got like a lot of situations in our life. Like people ask you, oh, can you please do this one thing for me? Because, I am so busy. And before you know, between all those podcasts, between all those meetings, you're going to grab this thing and going to do it. Who is grabbing these things? It's like an autopilot. Like, sure, no problem. People even get used to that you are always the fixer. You even being complimented for it. Because they say like, oh my God, Jana is so great. This girl, she's always knowing to solve everything. If there is a fire, Jana. If there is something wrong, Jana. But are you really willing to be responsible for everything? Why you are doing this? On autopilot, you say, yeah, sure, yes, give me, just bring it on. I will have a look. But are you really capable of holding that amount of things, or are you doing this to secure your place and not being rejected?
Actually, this is a great example. And I was thinking when you were giving these examples, I think many people can see themselves. And for example,
Yes, well.
me, when you say, yes, the fixer and the situations, I think it's also one of my automatic replies that I want to help people. So it would be also one of my really quick answers without even hesitating, even a second. So, or nowadays, maybe in some cases, I hesitate or think about it if I really want to do the things. But regarding help, it's really quick, my answer, always.
Yes. Because, you happened to be a pleaser, which comes from a place without any blame. It is so beautiful to pleasure another person with something, with food, with helping. It's connection. And at the moment, the most crazy part is that when you say yes, you even feel delighted, like, wow, they like me and I can be so good, great day at work. But at home, you are like, oh my, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
So how did you work with it? Because it was, I have a feeling that this was also your case in the past. So probably.
Of course.
So how did you work with it? What helped you?
I am so blessed to be able to be at this island and see the patterns revealing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most important thing is to take the time to become aware of the consequences of your doing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go too fast during the day from one thing to another, because if you have some regret, you tend to do, okay, no whining, coffee, we go, I park this for later. I need coffee.
Oh my God,
So,
I drink
then you
coffee
make the
in the
coffee,
morning to be
then
efficient.
comes the dog and you are like, oh, so you're distracted and you are just parking this feeling in the parking lot, but it's waiting there in the closet next to the other things, So I think the most important thing is just notice how are you feeling, because this gonna gives you a lot of data.
Mm-hmm.
How is your energy? Are you
Mm-hmm.
draining yourself, or you are really, if you do something unconditionally, that's the crazy part. We are taught that the energy is finite and you need to grab your rest and blah, blah, blah. All true. But there are different ways of working with this energy. If you go and work with this energy of unconditional feeling, love, and, you are not depriving yourself, you are not draining anything. You are not draining your own energy storage, but also not from somebody else. It just is. You can go and feel joyful. If you are pleasing and you give all this amount of energy, You're going to pour from your own cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels great at that moment because you're protecting this little girl who was really rejected if you didn't do this or that or that. The situation might be, I don't know, at home, at school, something happened and you just got this idea that this is much more profitable for you to be pleaser. If you're going to go and act from this energy, you're going to feel really bad, drained, because you are not having this beautiful energy current running through you, but you are protecting, you are managing. It's project.
Okay.
So basically, this is even worse because then you are betraying yourself. You know, sometimes it's easy to ask this question because people, you know, we tend to, for a pleaser, that's very difficult to go and choose yourself. For me, it helped it like, you know, when I was doing things and pleasing and overgiving and I was drained. And then I just asked myself, would I be happy if my daughter will be acting like this, doing those things to other people? And I was like, hell no, I will be really having this conversation with her. Like, listen, Ophelia, what are you doing? Think about yourself, you know, that's definitely not good for you. So, you know, then I became aware, like with this question, would I advise this behavior to my daughter?
That's a good question.
And
That's a good
yeah.
question.
And I think for the pleasers might be really great. Like, would you ask your dog to give you unconditional love and play with you whenever you like it? And you know that he's tired, but you want him to go with you and have this 2 hours walk. You wouldn't ask this. He would do it because, you know, dog will always please you as well. But dog is much more unconditional. He's not expecting you to love him. He knows that you're going to love him anyways if you go or do not go. So, you know, we think too much. We are so conditioned. And I think that's the biggest dynamic here, the conditioning. So just, you know, before you do things, ask yourself, like, from which place am I doing? Who is holding the pen in here? Am I saying yes because I really appreciate this person and this is unconditional, or I just say yes because they get used to I am being applauded? I cannot lose this image, this role. And I think in a lot of cases, that's the case.
How to stop sabotaging ourselves like this, Beata? What do you think?
Yeah, and, you know, I want to be a little bit careful with this word sabotage because, you know, let's address it with love because this sabotaging, you might imagine that behind of this behavior, there is always a part of human which was very needed back then to survive certain situation, to be able to navigate through something, right? So I think in the most moments when you are sabotaging yourself, you are just handing over the pen to the 5 years old Jana, 13 years old Michael, whatever it might be, you know? We are all having those aspects. And I do love this metaphor, like, can you imagine this big pie? Like it might be the cheesecake. You are the whole cheesecake as a person with your body, with your mind, with the connection to something greater. You are this beautiful piece of pie, right? And during the lifetime, you're going to slice yourself. You're going to have these roles like a daughter to your father, daughter to your mother, sister, dog owner, entrepreneur, friend, blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of slices in there. And each of the slices is conditioned by certain situations, by ideas. Most of them are not even yours. They are just expectations. Right? We are adjustable species. We love to be in the tribe. So we have a lot of tactics to just stay alive in the tribe. If you have certain situations that are repeating themselves a lot, right? Just ask yourself, which part of me is active right now? Is this the whole cheesecake or just that slimy slice of it dictating me what I'm supposed to do right now? And if you discover, like, okay, this is this Jana from 2011 that got so much disappointment, was really hurt in their love relationship. So now you are not asking the question, you live in uncertainty because you are so afraid to this disappointment. Whatever, right? So if you can address this sabotaging part, which is basically this hurt, Jana, and become aware, like, okay, is the situation right now truth? What am I doing? Is this good for me to hand the pen over? Or you can zoom out without recruiting the story, without feeding the story, but just being able to guide this part of you that is making itself visible, because this part is coming for you for the completion. She's coming to you for the completion. If you can see the situation like rather something that is happening for you, not to you, but for you, it's a great opportunity to choose differently and get rid of those patterns, right? And I mean this a little bit ironically, because if you want to get rid of something, you're going to repeat it as well. But if you can address this differently, like opportunity, I do see this with business as well. If I am able to do something and accomplish something and it's going well, I can feel that there is different energy. Sometimes things are not appearing, or, later on, there is this divine right timing, divine right order. If I can, without delaying, postponing, just be aware what is happening, a lot of things are happening for me. Because, in a week, so many things can change. So you can navigate differently. You can navigate with different energy, with different awareness. So those situations are basically for us. But if you are looking at them, we have those stages of awareness. If you are in this victimhood mentality that you are thinking, oh, look what is happening to me again, it's going to be very difficult for you to navigate through those looping mechanisms without feeling victims. But if you can go to the stage where you are seeing like this is big play and energy is energy, life is not choosing any victims, but there are dynamics, because there are things active in your subconscious. So we're attracting things to be able to complete spirals. If you can see some situation like, okay, what is happening here? What can I learn from this? What choice can I make? And most of all, who is choosing right now? Because if you go by this autopilot, like the trigger hits, your body reacts. And then if you are mistaking this emotion for intuition, you're going to plug those stories like, look, I know the situation. It's always happening, it's just the same story. You're going to be really repeating the cycles over and over again. But if you can step out and say like, okay, let me see. What is happening here? And sometimes just breathe. And then you're going to see that this feeling in your body, it's not going to kill you, it's just emotion passing through. It gives you information that there is some part of you that is trying to keep you alive. Doesn't matter the story. Is this real for now? From which lens are you looking right now? Because if you fragment it, even love is responsibility or asking for approval. You're going to always search outside. Just become the authority for yourself. People are going to love this because, if you're going to be responsible with yourself, you're not going to rely on sick way on people. We tend to ask people a lot of things we are not able to feel inside. A lot of relationships function like this. A lot of businesses act like this. Like, people have those big sales. And if they are not aligned, they have this energetic mismatch where people just feel that they are being drained of money. And, it's totally different energy. Or if somebody is speaking about authenticity and I don't know what, but you feel that she's disconnected from herself, you feel this energy underneath, right?
I believe so, but just a few more questions before we continue, because you mentioned also the body. I believe that the body gives us signals when we are not aligned with whatever we do. When the body knows actually that it's not right for us. But sometimes what I also observe on people, and it was also my case for many years, that we might not listen to the body signals. So how do you think, what's the key to listen more to the body signals, what the body wants to tell us?
Our body, this is such a sophisticated tissue. And most of all, we are disconnected from the body. We are not inhabiting it. So can you imagine receiving full reloaded Tesla and not being aware of all those gadgets inside, what it can do with you? You are not cooperating with this. It will be stupid, right?
Absolutely.
This is such a technology. So is our body. Our body is really full reloaded with everything. It is your servant, but it needs to be cooperated with and not controlled. So, for example, I believe so that the body is the first in a row to give you some clue. And it's beautiful, but we tend to misinterpret a lot of things from the body because, first is the body, then you've got this emotion, and then you go, if you grab some old story, for example, something might be intuition or might be not. Intuition gives you this gentle feeling, like you feel that it's not instruction, it's statement rather. But the urgency, that the old program will be always giving you this urgency that you need to do something, improve yourself. How do I look? Am I smart enough? Whatever.
Anything.
There is rush, there is this urgency. So if you can stay in the body and feel that something is hitting, and then pass the emotion through and just ask, what is this emotion asking me to do? And if this is anyhow some kind of urgency, then this is set of old instructions, because right now the whole cheesecake is at ease.
Yeah.
There is no urgency. Right? So I think this is where we misinterpreting the body, like, it gives you the clues, but who is interpreting those signals? How are you using this technology?
And from your opinion, how do we observe in our body or find out that we live in alignment?
And I think by asking me this, you're going to touch something which is essential for my life, but also for everything I do. That's the key word, is coherence. And coherence, it might be very spiritual, but you can also make this very grounded by saying that your inner and outer world are not in contradiction anymore. So, coherence means that you're going to navigate through life. And by being coherent, I don't mean that your life will be not having any surprises anymore. You still might be disappointed because of the breakup or not being paid or health issues. But coherent person is always acting from very different place. And I mean really different place. There is this authorship where you are able to hold enough pressure in your body to stay embodied through the situation, to stay conscious, to stay present, to choose, to be able to freely choose, not by some looping mechanism, not by some pattern running, but being able to hold the situation without crushing it. I think, and then you become much more alive, because if you can be coherent, you can feel that there is so much more. There are so many options you can choose from. You are not being narrowed by fear, by some looping mechanism. So I think this is the most important thing, the coherence, that your outer world and inner world are not contradicting. So your emotions, your thoughts, your body. And then we can come back into the example of this lady willing expansion. Of course, the mind wants to go there, wants to have it all. But can the body hold this? Can her nervous system hold the situation? It's a contradiction in itself. It's not going to happen. So I think this is also, you can imagine this. I think it was in 2003 or 5, this secret book came, and people will start to imagining things. It's lovely. Imagination is a great thing, but are you deluding yourself by going for something that your system cannot hold? If you cannot hold it, what you are imagining, you're never gonna have it. And if you're gonna have it, you're gonna lose it, because you cannot hold it. It is giving too much contraction in the body, in the system, right? So I think that's the major key, is become coherent, so you can hold everything you are wishing for, you are making, you are planning, without deluding yourself, because desires are beautiful, but it might be escape if you are not coherent.
Beata, and what would you recommend to people or advise to people um, who are staying in relationships or at work or at some places where they really are not happy, but they are staying there, let's say in relationships or at work or at jobs which they do not like because of, I don't know, some for what reason? What should they do to realize that they really do not want to be in that position and that they want to change it? And what would you advise them to change, to do, so they can be more aligned with themselves?
Yeah, and this is the key word: aligned with who. Aligned with who? Because by choosing this relationship, you are, people tend to stay in situation because uncomfortable situation is much more predictable than something you don't know. Uncertainty is the key word here. We are all fearing uncertainty. That's the one thing. So if you become coherent and train yourself, that uncertainty might be great, because the greatest expansions, the options, everything, the solution to everything is in expansion. You cannot change your life if you stay at the level of the person who is choosing this life or the problem dynamics itself. You need to do something different. So ask yourself the question, who is choosing right now, and what am I trying to protect myself from by staying with this guy? Maybe you don't believe that you can manage on your own. So it's better to stay by this guy, because at least you can pay the bills. The children will be having the food on the table. I don't know. I am making this example up, but I think a lot of people recognize those situations.
Yeah.
There will be always somebody else that you choose first. It might be your children. It might be, at least that the certainty is there. It might be very uncomfortable. So ask yourself the question, who is asking and why? What are you fearing actually of? What are you afraid of?
That's a good question. What do you think? What are majority of people afraid of, or in case the women you are working with them?
I think uncertainty. And you can translate this for everyone, might be different aspect of it, but uncertainty, because death is uncertainty. Not being paid off next month is uncertainty. Losing your friendship is uncertainty, right? So I think the major thing might be the uncertainty, something that we don't know, we cannot predict. We are afraid of the changes, and not the change itself, but what it might bring. And sometimes we're dreaming of the change, but you are not trusting enough the new part of you who is emerging from the threshold. You have not enough evidence that it will be working. I think this is the reason also that people are not reaching those big dreams, because they don't know. And maybe they cannot hold this reality yet.
So the best thing is to start asking ourselves the questions, which is, I think, great example what you gave us. And then it came up to my mind that now when you were speaking, that sometimes that they cannot imagine the other, maybe they cannot imagine our solution or how it could look like differently, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And, for example, if you stay in a relationship and you have those conflicts, I think the conflict is the last part of it. There has happened a lot before the conflict, therefore you have the conflict. So if you have the conflict, it's actually a good thing, but because that's your chance to choose differently. Look who is choosing. What are you saying yes to? Or what are you not capable to say no to? It's your boundary that you cross, like with small tiny things. Those micro movements matter in life, because if you go by autopilot and you never say to your husband, like, okay, it's your turn to do the dishes, because I need to head to the office. So it's your day to do the dishes and bring the children and walk the dog. If you say like, oh, I'm going to do it, he's so busy. People get used to, so you just move the boundaries with every decision you postpone or do not say. And later, when you're feeling not well, you are so exhausted that you're going to snap. But that's not the problem. You snapped, but the problem began earlier. So be conscious, be in the now. Know yourself. What are you agreeing to? Are you going to be happy with this decision later on? So I think that consciousness is also one of those key words. Stay present. Don't go by, just agreeing, because there is certain set of beliefs, or I don't know, like programs which make you do things. If you do not get them, you're going to be run by them. Either you're a conscious person and consciousness is not out there to connect in the sky, in a high in the sky, or read the books. That's the tragedy, that we are overeducated. Mentally, we know a lot, but knowing the pattern, knowing something still doesn't change anything.
Absolutely, I agree. Sometimes we know exactly what you mentioned, that many things we do know, but the question is if we take the action, and if we change it, and if we deal accordingly to what we know. So that's also why people feel stuck, that they know what they should do, but often that they cannot move, they cannot do the action because somehow they feel stuck. So also from your advice to those people would be to ask the questions, start with asking questions, and then
Yes, who is choosing right now?
yeah.
This is the whole cheesecake looking at the situation, or the small part of you who is protecting you from someone, which is now not realistic. But yeah, the situation will be reflected.
Yeah.
Will be rippling this. Become aware. Ask yourself just one question: who is holding the pen right now? Are you handing your authority to 3 years old right now? With all respect and love, but we are adult people, and I think right now we are living in this great time where the awareness has reached different level. We are not searching for it outside. We are not outsourcing a lot of things. We are just going inside and trying to actively change something. I can see this around the people, like this big need of really this mature energy to be the change, not expecting it from outside, but be the change. And if you are honest, look around for how many decades, years, we tried to change things in a certain way. It didn't work. So probably we need to do something different. And I think the answer to this is really the authorship, that you become really resilient and responsible, and without any blame. You don't, being responsible is saying no to somebody. Because if you are always saving somebody, it's going to kill you, and you're never going to help this person.
Absolutely. And Beata, you created two, you are the author of two codexes.
Yes.
Can you show them? Can you show them to us and describe them a little bit, because they are really great tool for the life and how to change the situation.
So this is the Coherence Codex basically, and everything is being based on this codex. And this is the part that you have those working exercises, and it's going into the depths. But basically, this is based on very ancient knowledge, which I have translated into the modern needs with my observation, with years of seeing things in real time, being my own example. And I have translated this knowledge to something really workable. This is the bottom line of the codex, is that it will give you the opportunity to become the author of your reality, that you're going to see the looping mechanisms. You're going to work on a lot of aspects together, like engaging the body, the emotions, and becoming aware what is choosing, how you choosing. So it's going to give you peace of consciousness in real time, so that you can choose differently without blaming yourself, but really connecting with all the parts, like this whole cheesecake, and zooming out and returning you to the aliveness, because we are working so hard on ourselves. The whole life we improving something, but this is also looping mechanisms. Is this to endlessly be in your own project, right? So this basically will give you the um, instruction sets you can live by to return to your aliveness without leaking energy anymore, but being very resilient and aware.
So there are practical tools and tips and questions where they
Yes.
go step by step, that they can change slowly the living on autopilot, actually.
Yes, and become really the conscious creator of your reality. So it gives you the authorship to be able to create the life you really want to. Because, those are the keys. There are 12 keys to become coherent, so that your inner reality and outer reality are really aligned. Because I think only from this alignment with yourself, with all the aspects, you can create something you want. Contradictions will always leak energy, the looping mechanism exists because of the contradictions, right? So if you become coherent, your life gonna change on every area in your life, in your business, your love relationship, your daily life, in every aspect. That's the answer, is coherence. To not leak the energy to contradiction. And this is what it is.
The coherence and then there is also the living codex. So they are like the two tools together. It's actually the best to work with them, both of them, right?
Yes, because this is the workbook for embodied coherence, and you want to bring everything into the body. You inhabit your body. We are here in the body, so that's the physical reality. So that's also one of the changes, my spirituality, my expansion. I grab this and bring into the body to live this perfect life right now. And perfect is fulfilled, like embodied, inhabit life in your own body, with yourself, with self-awareness, but most of all with the joy, with this aliveness. So the exercises here, they guide you through the techniques. Very simple method in here. It's something that is really doable. It's not like 10 steps and you need to be out of the space every time to accomplish. It's very simple, very practical, but yet very powerful.
That's really nice. And Beata, you have prepared a very nice offer for anyone who is listening or watching today's episode. Can you introduce it by yourself? Because the offer is really very nice and generous.
Yes, that's the gift from Jana and me. So everyone who is interested and who is listening, if you apply the code Jana, is this okay with you?
Yes, it is.
On my website, you are able to download this digital version of this codex for yourself, to be able to work with this, to look at this work and be able to actively become the authorship of your life. So this is our gift for free. You might download it with the code Jana.
That's really nice, and thank you very much for my viewers and listeners. It's really nice, really of you. And before we finish, do you have any wish or any message you would like to share with people who are watching or listening to today's episode?
Yes, if you just can take one thing from this whole episode, it will be, ask yourself this question every time: who is choosing? Who is holding the pen right now? If you get yourself in a situation that is repeating, uncomfortable situation, something that you want to walk through differently and accomplish this cycle, ask yourself every time, who is holding the pen right now? Who is asking this question? Who is creating the situation? And that's enough to become aware of the hidden chooser. That's really powerful. Just try it. Ask every time, who is choosing right now? Who is holding the pen? And that will be giving you this X-ray, beginning of this X-ray vision, that you're going to see things differently. You're going to be able to zoom out, and you're going to win the time to see the click before you decorating the old prison with new furniture, basically.
Lovely. Beata, thank you very much for today's episode. It was really many great tips, and I'm really happy also for the gift for viewers, for all viewers and listeners. I will, by the way, for all of you, I will also put the link into the description where you can download it when you put the special name Jana to the website to download those amazing workbooks which you can work with. So Beata, really thank you very much for everything.
Thank you as well, and it was a pleasure to talk to you again.
Thank you. And for all of you, thank you very much that you joined. Thank you for your time, that you listened and follow Jana Talk podcast. If you know about anyone who might need a little encouragement or who is solving similar topic like living on autopilot or staying in relationship or at work which is not fulfilling them, definitely share this story to them. And definitely download the amazing workbooks from Beata, because they are truly great tips, the codexes, how to change the life. I'm looking forward to seeing you next Sunday at 7 p.m. where we will go with Beata through special questions episode, and we will find out what makes her feel happy and what does she do to prevent stress. Wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful week ahead, and see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.